Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally happened. Actually, you know what? A special note, it's happened twice in two shows. When we start the show off now with breaking news. Yeah, I didn't think that would be possible. Good morning, by the way. Welcome into the Farzy Show. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Look who is finally a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. Marcus Mariota, ladies and gentlemen, is your backup quarterback to our man, Jalen Hurts. Adam Schefter tweeting this out at 1:05 in the morning. Former Falcons quarterback Marcus Mariota reached an agreement with the Philadelphia Eagles on a one-year, $5 million deal worth up to $8 million per a source. Mariota expected to be with the Eagles as a number 2 quarterback this season, as one would expect. I literally, as the day was going on yesterday, I thought about this move. I thought about this deal because to have a backup quarterback to Jalen Hurts, you have to have somebody, I believe, that can play within the same style and offer this a similar amount of versatility to that offense. And Marcus Mariota certainly does that. He can still be a mobile quarterback. He can still play on the move. Played well against the Chiefs last year when they actually played the Chiefs during the regular season. This is a perfect backup quarterback situation for the Eagles. And he is used to being a backup quarterback. He's not coming here with the idea that he's going to compete for the number 1 spot. Okay, this is not anything close to the idea that you had with Gardner Minshew when you had the quote-unquote unproven version of Jalen Hurts. This is fantastic. This is a great move. This is as excited as you can be for a backup quarterback to be signed. This Marcus Mariota deal. And the number one reason I feel is because of the versatility that he can bring to an offense. He can still throw the ball. He can still run the ball. He'll be 30 years old during the season. He turns 30 in October. So I woke up to this news like many people did, and I thought, this is the perfect deal. Plus, there's all the irony. I know people will have fun talking about the idea of how it was a good idea that the Eagles did give up 3 first-round picks. And who was it at the time? Michael Kendricks, Fletcher Cox. Everybody was on the board. You got to get Marcus Mariota. Do the deal. I remember being at the Eagles draft party and chants of do the deal from our dear friend Sal Palantonio, as he wasn't chanting it, but he was telling people do the deal. That was his phrase. They did not do the deal. Spoiler, they did not do the deal. And I remember the phone call from the Tennessee Titans to Marcus Mariota after they had taken him in the draft, and they said, look, we got a lot of offers for you, but the bottom line is we wanted you. Well, didn't work out in Tennessee. Ended up losing the starting quarterback reins in Tennessee. He goes on to the Oakland Raiders. Then last year he goes on to the Atlanta Falcons. When it's all said and done, the Eagles will be his 4th team in 5 years for Marcus Mariota. This is as excited as you could be when it comes to having a backup quarterback. And it is hilarious the way things work out when people wanted him so bad in that Chip Kelly offense, and it just wasn't meant to be. Now, in this offense, I think he'll fit in rather nicely with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts in that quarterback room, along with Ian Book as well. So, very good news for the Eagles. They got their backup quarterback. You knew they were going to sign one at some point, and this is the guy that they got, especially after the news broke yesterday that Gardner Minshew was rejoining his former offensive coordinator, now the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, in Shane Steichen. So Gardner Minshew signs a deal with Shane Steichen and the Indianapolis Colts. So that's where we're at right now. We did not get the news yesterday that we wanted. We did not get the news that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is re-signing with Philadelphia Eagles. That is still out there. And as long as he's not signed anywhere else, the Eagles also brought in, this scared me yesterday. I think it was Shefty I saw put it out there. Greedy Williams, a former second-round pick of the Cleveland Browns. They have now signed him as a cornerback. And when I saw Greedy, I thought Seedy, and no, it is not Seedy. It is, in fact, Greedy. But it definitely made me do a double take at the old Twitterverse, and I went, damn it. But still no news on Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Still waiting for that to develop. Still no news on Jalen Hurts' long-term contract. So much going on. We did get news, though, on Darius Slay's numbers. Yesterday, we read a tweet for you from Jeff McClain, simply talking about the fact that the money was going to be new money. It was believed to be new money, so it wouldn't affect this year's cap, at least. But the numbers on Darius Slay's deal, this is the expected extension. Slay agreed to a 3-year, $42 million extension that includes $23 million fully guaranteed, and the extension was confirmed and negotiated by Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey. Whenever I see a shout out to the agent or anybody really, when it comes to where it doesn't make any damn sense, right, which is right there, that's where I think Shefty got the info from. And 9 times out of 10, if you're getting numbers, you're getting that information from the agent or whoever else helped work out the deal. It's rare. I haven't seen it in any other tweets from Shefty. So it makes me think Rosenhaus was like, hey, by the way, give me a shout out here. Just give me a shout out that I worked out this deal. It's just like, you're the agent. Of course you worked out the deal. But that's a very good deal by Darius Slay. It's a very good deal by the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm just waiting patiently, and you could insert every single GIF, every single soundbite of I'm waiting, whether that's the guy from what's the movie with the Caddyshack, we're waiting, okay, or whether that's Stone Cold Steve Austin sitting on the top rope checking his non-existent watch, you know what I'm saying, whatever it might be, whether it's Judge Judy with the, hey, come on, let's go, whatever GIF you want to insert. That's all of us right now as we wait to see what happens with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. The Jalen Hurts deal, I'm not worried about. Jalen Hurts is going to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Okay? Not worried. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, still a little worried. If Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, if this deal gets done, then that means this offseason you have done the incredible. You have done what many thought, myself included, was the impossible. I didn't expect Javon Hargrave to be back. I thought that the Deron Payne deal, as I've mentioned many times this week already, that put the Eagles out of the price range. That wasn't happening. That was going to be way too much going on there. But in terms of keeping Jason Kelce, keeping Brandon Graham, keeping Fletcher Cox, those guys just on one-year deals, by the way. And then magically, somehow, keeping Darius Slay and James Bradbury, keeping the two best corners in the NFL, or two of the best corners right now in the NFL that helped vastly your passing defense be the best passing defense in the entire league. And then you mean to tell me you could keep Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on top of that? While adding a running back like Rashad Penny, by the way, who we'll get to in a second. He addressed the media yesterday. And a solid backup quarterback in Marcus Mariota. Oh, that's a good thing. That is all good things right there for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now just can't be Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That's it. Let me get greedy. I was on Monday, I believe it was. Tuesday, I think it was. Tuesday, I came out saying, nobody plays for the Eagles anymore. Everybody's gone. And they all left. They're out of here. Marcus Epps is gone. Hargrave is gone. Everyone's gone. They're all gone. And now it's like, nobody wants to leave here. As a matter of fact, everybody wants to come here. Rashad Penny yesterday addressing the media was asked about why Philadelphia was the perfect fit for him. Here's your new running back, folks.
I feel like this is like a great place for me to like restart my career. And I'm just excited to be here, and I can't wait to get to work. Playing with a finalist MVP at QB and great running back room, great weapons on the receivers, and obviously arguably the best O-line. So I'm definitely excited to get to work.
Wow, tell me everything I want to hear, Rashad Penny. First off, you're huge. I've never watched a press conference with Rashad Penny. Sorry for that. But dear God, man, running back? That guy looks like he could play a D tackle. He's ginormous, folks. But anyway, now back to what he said. What he said is the draw, right? I mean, you talk about having a guy like Jalen Hurts as your quarterback, and you run behind that offensive line. Yeah, okay. If I'm going to revamp or restart my career, which is what Rashad Penny referenced many times in his press conference yesterday, that's where he feels like he's at 27 years old. He's dealt with a whole slew of injuries. He wants to play a full season. And if he's going to revamp his career, he feels like this is the place to do it. This gives him the best opportunity to revamp his career. Now, speaking of those injuries, Rashad Penny, of course, was asked about them yesterday. Here's how he responded to his injury issues throughout his career.
Stay healthy.
I feel really great. I know, I just feel like 17 games is really important to me. And I know in my right mind that being here, being an Eagle, great strength and training staff, great coaches. They all take good care of their players here. So, I'm excited to be here and I expect big things.
Rashad, how do you make sense of all
We'd love to expect some big things for you. I told you, talent-wise, he could certainly take over the starting reins as the Eagles' number one running back. Now, that's what I'm rooting for, but what I'm betting on is that doesn't happen. You just look over the last couple of years here. 5 games last year, 10 games the year before, 3 games in 2020, 10 games in 2019. His rookie year, he played 14 games. When he's on the field, pretty special. Look at the last 2 seasons, over 6 yards per carry over those last 2 years, 8 touchdowns, and that's in 15 games. So if you put that out there to a full season, you have, yards-wise, you have over 1,000-yard rusher, and you have 8 touchdowns on the season, 8 rushing touchdowns for him on the season. Not much of a pass catcher out of the backfield, but certainly a guy that can bowl over players. And with that agility, by the way, 5'11" is his height. He is a definition of a bowling ball running back, cannonball running back, if you will. That certainly seems like he is happy to be in Philadelphia with what will be around him in the upcoming season. And you got to think about it. As an athlete, you got to be thinking to yourself, I have yet to reach my full potential. I know what I can do when I'm out there. I know what my capabilities are. I know what I bring to an offense. The Eagles have looked at Boston Scott as a power running back over the last handful of years. Boston Scott. And he's had success, not just against the Giants, but he's come up in big situations for the Eagles before in those bigger running back, cannonball running back types of situations. Now Rashad Penny's going to get that ball. And I think you're going to have a very classic case of the old thunder and lightning adage, right? Power and speed out of the backfield in Kenny Gainwell and what you have in Rashad Penny as well. The Eagles have bolstered their backfield this offseason, and I loved Miles Sanders. I think you're going to get Miles Sanders out of Kenny Gainwell. I think you're going to get that type of production out of Kenny Gainwell when he actually has the ball in his hands. You're going to get, on average, what Miles Sanders could bring you, the 5.1 yards per carry, for instance. Kenny Gainwell will give you a lot of that. But what I'm looking for isn't ultimately one running back doing well. I'm looking for a running game to continue to do well. And although you're not going to see maybe 1,100, 1,300 yards from Kenny Gainwell, I don't think he's going to get that amount of carries, especially if Rashad Penny is healthy this season. But seeing those two guys play together, that style, that diversity in the backfield, not just with your quarterback, but with your running backs as well, I think is going to help take this running game to the next level. And that's what I'm excited to see. That combination in speed. When it comes to speed, Penny's no slouch. He can kick it in high gear as well. But in terms of the production, that's all I care about overall. I don't care if it's one guy getting the numbers, if it's 2 guys, if it's 3 guys getting the numbers, as long as you're getting numbers out of the backfield that you got similar to last year. And this doesn't even include what Jalen Hurts could do in the run game as well. This just talks about, I'm just talking about what your running backs can do for you. It's a home run of a signing for Howie Roseman when it comes to what Rashad Penny can bring to this offense, if healthy. So let's hope that he is healthy. So very exciting news there about the Eagles and what they were able to do yesterday with Marcus Mariota and Rashad Penny. I'm just crossing my fingers that we finally get the announcement today about what goes down. The fact that it hasn't happened in the first couple of days of the legal tampering period or actual free agency, it's got to happen in the next couple days, right? This isn't something that's going to drag on for a long period. This has got to happen soon. I can't take the waiting or the anticipation. I said it yesterday. If you get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, this was before Marcus Mariota was your backup quarterback. If you're able to get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to stay in Philadelphia and still sign Jalen Hurts to a long-term deal, which is still the actual number one priority, this is the best offseason, the most surprising offseason I've seen from Howie Roseman. I mean, you can talk about courting other players to Philadelphia. You can certainly talk about how they've kept players here in Philadelphia. There's one more guy you got to make sure you keep. At this point in time, before the draft, which is something that not a lot of people have talked about, but at this point in time before the draft, you're talking about possibly Reed Blankenship, who I'm fine with as a starting safety on this team. And potentially not only just keeping your corners, but keeping CD Deuce as well. I'm pretty excited about what the future holds for the Eagles in the upcoming season. Excited already, and the season only ended a month ago. That's basically how it feels right now to be someone who's rooting for this Philadelphia Eagles team to have success. And to look at a guy like Howie Roseman to see all he's done in the offseason so far, it's spectacular. But what's really crazy is you could give credit to Brandon Graham, and you could give credit to Jason Kelsey, you could give credit to Fletcher Cox for staying here in Philadelphia. The bottom line with those guys is that this culture, I mean, you heard Rashad Penny talk about it. You've heard other people talk about it. You heard Darius Slay talk about it as well. James Bradbury talk about it. That's the number one reason why he wanted to be here in Philadelphia. A lot of these guys taking less money to keep this team together. I am curious to see more than ever, especially if it's after the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson signing, which I expect it to be. I am more curious than ever to see how much money Jalen Hurts gets. And that's for the simple reason of, will he take a hit? Will he take a discount? Which I'm not rooting for, by the way. I'm asking the question. I think the guy should get every penny that he deserves. But my thought process is, if I see that number and that's below the $50 million average annual salary, that'll be like, damn, this guy, he'll take the hit. Because he could cash in big time right now. He'll take the hit if it means he can keep the band together for a few more years. And then also leave a little wiggle room for the front office to make sure that they got money to spend. And the other idea is that he could always be up for a restructure. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had that $450 million deal for about 10 minutes before they ended up restructuring. But that's what's going to happen. If you're a quarterback in this league and you really want to win, yes, you're going to get your money, but you're going to be willing to restructure as the cap moves, as the spending of every team moves, as opportunities arise to bring in other free agents, other players. You're going to want to make sure that your front office has that wiggle room. And the quarterback is a guy that I think is going to be willing to take a couple of hits as his contract goes on. So look forward to see how all that plays out. I'm still in just the same amount of suspense as everybody else. I got my fingers crossed. Can't wait for the rest of this to play out for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's move on because Joker won last night. The Nuggets won last night. Their head coach challenged them to play a full 4 quarters the other night, and sure enough, they ended up dominating in their 119-110 or 119-100 victory last night. But Joker played himself a pretty standard Joker game for himself. Sixers are back at it tonight. And I am very much looking forward to seeing how they continue this run that they're on. Joel Embiid obviously will be back at it. James Harden will be back at it. No news on those guys. They got a back-to-back coming up against the Bulls, so I assume somebody, if not a couple of people, are going to get a break coming up in the next couple of days here, a game off or two. But as of right now, we just touched on this yesterday, but the 26 games they had remaining on the schedule were supposed to be the toughest stretch of the season for any NBA team. Not just like in recent history of the Sixers, but for any NBA team for this rest of the season after the All-Star break, 26 games is supposed to be the toughest. They're 8-3 in that stretch. And Joel Embiid has been an absolute force down the stretch. James Harden has continued to play at a ridiculously high level as the season has gone on. Tyrese Maxey has played phenomenally well down the stretch. When you talk about a guy who had to be almost coerced or coached in by teammates to play more aggressive, he has certainly done that. And at times has relied, unlike this most recent game, relied on his three-point shooting to help him get involved in the offense. But he has been with this team every step of the way this season when it's come to the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of the season. If they can continue to get play from Harden and Embiid, and fully expect that, but continue to get that kind of play from Tyrese Maxey. Continue to see what I've seen over the last couple of weeks of PJ Tucker starting to give you that solid defense. Nothing offensively, but that solid defense that you signed him for, and see that dog in him that we've been waiting for a long time, whether that's him being healthy or used to his new team, I don't know. But whatever it is, you're starting to see who the Sixers signed. I think one of the guys that is the most interesting as this goes on, and we talked about this a little bit in the chat yesterday, Tobias Harris. When I look at Tobias Harris and what he has brought to the table for the Sixers, it hasn't been much outside of being, similar to PJ Tucker, a steady defensive asset for the 76ers. Looking at just his last couple of games here, he has only hit the 10-point mark twice in the last 5 games. This is somebody right now, and I know we can talk about the money. I don't care about the money. I care about the production right now. The money's not changing between now and the end of whenever the Sixers playoff run ends, hopefully not in the second round. But you're talking about a guy who's averaging just less than 15 points per game right now. He's still getting you about 6 rebounds per game. You're not looking at him for many assists, but he's not taking shots. He's not penetrating through the lane like you'd like to see him. He's not going to be a dominant player. We know that. I'm not saying all of a sudden you need him to start averaging 15 points a game. What I want from Tobias Harris is who I saw play in this offense when he didn't have James Harden, when he didn't have Joel Embiid. The role I explained is a 3-and-D guy, a little bit on steroids. Rely on him for that consistent three-point shot. Get you a couple of those a game. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. And provide that defense. But the caveat there is that unlike guys that we've hoped would develop into that role, or guys that were in that role, like a Robert Covington, or guys even like a Matisse Thybulle that you were hoping would develop that 3 portion of the 3-and-D game, is that he would actually have the ability to put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket. Maybe get the foul and go to the line. And that's not something I have seen enough of from Tobias Harris. I'm not looking for the 15 points per game. Even his season average is, I think, a lofty expectation. But if you can get just 10 from him a night, I mean, a couple of 2 threes, and 1. If you can get around the 10-point mark with Tobias Harris, I think that's a tremendous asset for the 76ers. And he has been like that defensively speaking, being a good asset, not tremendous asset, but good asset on the defensive end of things. But looking at his numbers just over the last couple of games here, again, you're talking about 1 for 4 from beyond the arc, 1 for 2, 0 for 3, 0 for 1, 1 for 2, 1 for 2, 2 for 4, 0 for 2. The last game that you really saw him take off have to go all the way back to February 27th, where he was 3 for 5 from beyond the arc, a 19-point game. And that was against the Celtics. So of all the games to play off the charts, that's the game he played off the charts for him. But if you can get consistency from beyond the arc from Tobias Harris, more shot attempts from beyond the arc for Tobias Harris, then I think you're going to start to see him really start to impact the game. I know everyone wants to talk about Joel Embiid, everyone wants to talk about James Harden, everyone wants to talk about what Tyrese Maxey can do, and we've certainly talked about those 3 enough. But now you're starting to get contributions from a guy like PJ Tucker, especially on the defensive end, only on the defensive end, let's be real. If you can start to get those types of contributions from guys that should play their role to the best of their ability, this is the best of Tobias Harris's ability now. And he will be a huge contributor if he's able to do that. And another guy that can help you have a lot more confidence in the Sixers making it out of the second round if you have him playing to the best of his ability. And that's not even talking about the Tobias Harris that you traded for from the Clippers, where you're getting consistent threes, you're getting over 20 points per game, you're getting decent defense. No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a guy playing a role on this team. His role should be 3-and-D on steroids, the best way I can describe it. 3-and-D with a slash. There you go. There you go. With that, we'll take away the performance-enhancing drugs out of it. That's what I'll be looking for the remainder of the schedule. All 3 of the guys that I mentioned that are the big 3 with Maxey, Harden, and Embiid. Happy birthday to Embiid, by the way, 29 years old. You beautiful man, you. But that's what I'm looking for. Those 3 to keep it going. And I want to see Tobias Harris step up and play a lot better version of basketball than we have seen him play over the last couple of weeks. That's what I'm going to cross my fingers for. We have not, with all the NFL free agency and all that stuff, we've barely talked about the Phillies in spring training. I wanted to make sure we got them in on today's program, because this is such an amazing case. I've interviewed Scott Kingery 2 or 3 different times when he was on his rise, maybe once after he made it to the big leagues. And before playing a big league game, he signs that possibly, I think, could have been a 9-year deal at $27 million. And this was before Rhys Hoskins got anything. And Rhys Hoskins was mashing at this point in the big leagues. And Scott Kingery, I think, had just watched Rhys Hoskins' dogs during All-Star Weekend. Like, that's how far back this goes, okay? Where Scott Kingery was just called up, hanging out with his boy Rhys Hoskins a lot and all that, and apparently pet sitting. But watching his career play out, and then COVID hit, and he just didn't look like the same player. First off, the Phillies bounced him around. Classic case of the Phillies doing that, like they've done with a lot of their players. Oh, you're a second baseman in the minor leagues, and you're a great prospect? Let's see you in center field, see how you do. That kind of thing. If Kevin Long has fixed his swing, And I'm not one to look at spring training numbers and go, Eureka, this guy's back. But if he's putting up good numbers, hell yeah, let's take a look. And if he's putting up phenomenal numbers, you bet your ass I'm going to tell you about him. Scott Kingery, through 11 games with the Phillies in spring training, 26 at-bats. All right, just 26 at-bats. Scott Kingery is batting .462 with a .533 on-base percentage. 1 home run in that time. And he is slugging .615. You know, I'm not saying that he's cured, he's set, he's good to go. All will be right in the Scott Kingery world from this point on. But I'm just saying it'd be a nice asset. You talk about versatility in every other sport. I mean, you do have a guy that could play second base, play short in a pinch, can play the outfield for you. It's a nice thing to have. Now, Armando Sosa, by the way, who was an acquisition towards the end of last year, 10 games, batting 524 at-bats on this season. So he's having himself a spring as well, and he's got 4 home runs. But Scott Kingery is making his case as well for just saying, hey, don't forget about me just yet. So we'll cross our fingers for Scott Kingery to see what we get out of it. The crazy thing is, to think about it like this, he's already 28 years old, which is just bonkers. For those also keeping track, Derek Hall hit another home run yesterday, his team leading 5th of the season. So he is ripping it up right now in spring training, which is great to see. And he's also batting over 300, which is nice. 11 games, 33 at-bats for Derek Hall. Probably the most pleasant sight is from a guy who has a roster spot, not a guy fighting for a roster spot like Scott Kingery or Derek Hall has been. But the fact that Alec Bohm has hit you a couple of home runs in spring, he's got 3 on spring training so far, is a great sign. If they get the batting average they can get, and they have gotten in the past from Alec Bohm, if they get at least a somewhat steady third baseman out of Alec Bohm, and they get pop out of Alec Bohm, then the Phillies will have what they truly thought they were getting when they drafted him. What was he, 6th overall? Alec Bohm, whatever the case might be, they're looking at him as the prospect that they thought they were drafting. And for me, that is what the Phillies need out of 3rd overall. Damn, I was 3 off. That's the prospect of the one out of, or that they were expecting out of Alec Bohm, and hopefully they'll be able to get that. Let me tell you right now about my friend Steven Singer at Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to that beautiful piece of diamond jewelry, go to one man, the man with the perfect price, Steven Singer Jewelers at the other corner of 8th and Walnut. Now, what is the perfect price, you say? I'll tell you what the perfect price is. The perfect price is something you don't have to negotiate or haggle. It's what you try to negotiate and haggle to at some other jeweler that's marked things way up. But at Steven Singer Jewelers, you know what they do? They keep it at that perfect price. So when you walk in, you don't have to worry about negotiating or haggling, or if you have a promo code, or if you're catching a sale at the right time. Not at Steven Singer Jewelers. It's Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut. You know what you're getting? You're getting that perfect price each and every day. Pressure free. So do what I do. Trust the man. Steven Singer. Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, online at IHateStevenSinger.com. How about Manscaped? The amazing people at Manscaped and Manscaped.com. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off and free shipping at Manscaped.com. You'll enjoy their Platinum Package 4.0, which includes their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, as well as their Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. And they both come with skin-safe technology that helps you reduce the risk of nicks, so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. So go to Manscaped.com. Join 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Go to Manscaped.com. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off and free shipping. How about Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. You like CBD? You use CBD? You want to switch up your CBD? Try Freestone Farm CBD and use promo code Farzy for 20% off at Freestone Farm CBD. FreestoneFarmCBD.com. It's the best way to go. Here's what you get. You get their amazing, incredible Freestone Farm CBD with their tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which is half Hindu, Kush, and 21%. Genetics of these guys are off the charts. So enjoy Freestone Farm CBD, FreestoneFarmCBD.com. What am I doing? Yep, here it is. Let me do PHL Sports Station. I just gave you the finger guns right there. PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsStation.com. Let's get into the chat check. Before we get into the chat check, for all the Irish people, all right? For all the Irish people, happy St. Patty's Day, all right? Patties? Patties. Happy St. Patty's Day, okay? Happy St. Patty's Day. My wife, her family, I thought I married a German-English girl. Turns out I married a German-English-Irish girl. Yeah. Irish bloodline has now been, I didn't know that. She didn't know that. Somebody in the family did Ancestry DNA, and she's like I don't know, 12th Irish. I don't know. So now I have Irish kids. Now I have Irish kids. They can celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Me, not so much. Not so much. I'm a mutt. Italian Polish mutt with some other Eastern Europeans sprinkled in there, but not Irish. Not a single dose of Irishness. But to all the beautiful St. Patty's Day people, God bless you. Have a wonderful day. I can tell you the most Irish I ever felt in my life as someone who is not an Irish person. I was standing in the bar at the Guinness Brewery in Dublin, Ireland, and I was standing up there in their 360. If you've been there, it's absolutely spectacular. You have to go, especially if you're Irish. Just to be in Dublin in general is amazing. But standing in the 360 view bar they have of Dublin, and I saw a church in the distance, and I asked one of the waiters, I said, "Hey, fella, what's going on over there?" And he was like, "Oh, that's St. Patrick's." And I went, "What? That's St. Patrick's Cathedral right there?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah." And I go, I literally have a Guinness freshly poured at the Guinness Brewery. I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh, this must be how Irish people feel all the time. It's awesome. You could go up there and you see the whole city. It's beautiful. Highly recommended. So to all of you guys, happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. St. Patrick's was Italian. Anyway, he wasn't. I know. He's Roman citizen. Whatever. But thanks, everyone. Enjoy your day. James Whalen. What's up, James? Good morning, sir. Mally, what's going on? Fuji, what's popping? Sean Kilrain, what's going on? What's up, Farzy? Mariota fits the offense. You're damn right he does. If you're not going to have Jalen Hurts, and that's why you get a backup quarterback. That's why you have a decent backup quarterback. That's why to Nick Foles, you had a Marcus Sanchez, right? That's what you had. You just have a decent backup quarterback. Similar style. And Mariota, similar style to what Jalen Hurts brings to the table. Sean. Good morning to you. Mally, and why is CJ GJ not signed yet? How sway? I don't know. I don't know why he's not signed yet. I don't know. He did have, oh, darn it. Did I not clip this like an idiot? He did have a deleted tweet, and I'm going to kick my own ass for not having it. No? Okay, cool. So, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson tweeted it out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The disrespect is real. And then deleted it. Okay? So, hopefully this means that people are looking at his contract or looking at his asking price and going, I don't think so. And the Eagles kind of already anticipated what the asking price was going to be, or at least knew that other teams weren't going to match that asking price and knew they were going to be in on the deal. So, as of right now, we're still in the holding pattern. There's still a lot to be determined, but it seems as if Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is not in a good place right now with what he thought he was getting and the offers he's been getting. What he's been asking and the actual offer. For the people on the podcast, I just raised one hand way high as to denote the asking price, and another hand way low as to denote what he's actually going to get. And there's a big gap in between them. And Lil Toot's screaming upstairs. What the hell? All right. April. Good morning, April. Jim. Hi, Jim. Eagles with an IGG. 17-0 Super Bowl victory 2023-2024. Let's party, Jim. April, Howie's just keeps pulling rabbits out of his hat. That's what it seems like. Who picked up Minshew? The Colts, Sean. The Indianapolis Colts picked up Minshew. Mally, gray shirt buttoned all the way up. No neckline showing. I'm nervous now, Mark. I mean, Mally, if you got up for me, all right, don't mind. Let's see. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on podcasts. We're on YouTube. Next is OnlyFans. I still enjoy that. When people, usually what happens at the end of an interview, if I'm on some other show, they'll be like, oh, Mark, I have to fight this urge so bad. Jason Lee of PHL 17, whenever he has me on, he always says at the end, tell people where we can watch the fine program. And also when I'm on with Chris Stegall, tell people where they can watch it or see it. I always fight the urge because I never say it on their show. I should once. But if I'm doing somebody else's podcast or whatever, wait, where can we catch your show? I always end with, and soon, OnlyFans, which just makes me laugh. It's what I call a selfish joke. But yeah, I don't know why I just went down that road, but I did. Oh, the neckline. Yeah, sorry. Hey, Miss Kuzi. Sean, Colts did, I believe. Colts did, yes, they did. We do everything but sign CJ. It hurts. RJ, I'm with you. Sean Gillespie, Mariota is finally in Philadelphia. Chip Kelly's long-term plan is finally working. Kevin, good morning. Sean, hello. Howie, I think working numbers is working numbers. Get CJ, GJ back here. I don't understand why the contract for Cox. You agree? I was very much surprised. I was very much surprised to see $10 million for Fletcher Cox on the 1-year deal, taking less money than he took the last year, realizing he's up there in age now. And I thought the Eagles were going to draft defensive line anyway. They like Milton Williams. They like Jordan Davis. There's still work to be done. But I was surprised that Fletcher Cox at that money for what the Eagles had to sign, I didn't think they were going to afford him. And I saw Jason Kelce. Oh, first we saw Brandon Graham. I saw Jason Kelce. And I'm like, well, then they're definitely not bringing back Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox, he's back. As I told you, his lady's a Philly girl. So it's interesting. What do we have here? Mario finally. Oh, Kevin, hello. Mally, Sean. Oh, I see Petty being used like how we had LeGarrette Blount in 2017. That's a good. I like that comparison. I like that comparison a lot. What did LeGarrette Blount? Now that I'm thinking of it, because I know I'll forget if I don't do this right now. If LeGarrette, what did LeGarrette Blount get yards wise in the 2017 season? That's an interesting little test here 5-6 years ago. This is what you call live research, folks. This is the most riveting part of the podcast / show that you can get. And it does not want to be cooperative. Oh, there we go. Pots and pans. Not the postseason, the regular season, 2017. LeGarrette Blount, 766 yards. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. All right. Yeah, I can take that. Did that on, no, this would be the bigger number. 4.5 yards per carry, essentially. 4.4 yards per carry. Jay Ajayi averages 5.8 yards per carry, and that was just in his time in Philadelphia. That's pretty solid. I like it. I like it a lot. Empire Sports, what's up? What's your opinion on the New York Giants acquiring tight end Darren Waller from Las Vegas Raiders? He's a very good tight end. He'll be a great target. That's my first thought when I saw it. I thought, oh, damn. Eagles historically have not been great at covering tight ends. They're a little bit better this past year. But here's the deal. You gave $160 million to Daniel Jones. Oh, that's hilarious. But the Darren Waller deal, it's a very good deal. I like Waller a lot, and I think he's a really good tight end. So you got yourself a really good tight end. When I saw that, I went, oh, good for the Giants. That's a good move. But $160 million. Daniel Jones. Oh, good God. Hilarious. Sean, hello again. Northeast Sports. Farzy. Northeast Sports. This Mariota deal was a good pickup. I absolutely agree with you. I have not heard it, Northeast Sports. I have not heard it as the tush push. I haven't heard any word on it either, but I'm looking forward to see what happens. Blue City Empire Sports Party. I have a feeling this is going to be the 76ers year to win the NBA Finals championship. Blue City. Now tell me this. If the Sixers win the championship, will you guys light up the Empire State Building again with Philadelphia sports team's colors? Will you give the old red and the red and blue? And not the Giants blue, the Sixers blue. Giants blue. Not the first time I've said that. Why does Harden play point guard? I think he should be off the ball, wing, 2 guard. Also, getting the most out of your offense, playing him off the wing. I don't think so. You're talking about the guy that literally leads the league in assists. The job of the point guard is to lead the league in assists. Like, basically spread the ball around. He's doing that better than anybody in the NBA. And that's with the center who dribbles a ton. Like, that's amazing to me. I think he could play the 2 guard, but until somebody like Tyrese Maxey shows that he could run point, and he can run point, but to that level, I'm not making any changes. I think Harden can develop into that 2 guard role, but like as time goes on, he does not have that blow by rate that he has had as he becomes more of just a shooter. But if he's averaging 12, 13 assists a night, oh no, sir. I am keeping him where he's at. Max should be playing. Oh, okay. So you disagree with the second point I made. So all right. So there we are. Mia Sanchez, I wish Scott Kingery would have panned out in center field. I still don't like how we had to buy most of our everyday lineup, but sometimes you got to buy to win. Mihai said very well. Sixers got Maxey playing off the wing as a 2 guard, as if he's Jordan, and Harden playing the point guard when Harden should be off wing. Okay, that's your opinion. I just wouldn't change it. I just wouldn't change anything right now. The only thing I would change is Tobias Harris being a little bit more aggressive, more aggressive, and just stand in the corner. That's all I need. Sean Kilrain, top of the morning to everyone. Happy St. Patty's Day. That's the way you said it. Northeast Sports, you're closer to me, Farzy, but not exactly. Does that have to do with heritage? Anyway, are you Italian Polish as well? One day I'll have to check out the podcast. Yeah, Sean. Every once in a while, people check out the podcast. Tell you the Colts like journeyman pocket quarterbacks, over the hill quarterbacks. Minshew's still young, just not my cup of tea. Northeast Sports. Yeah, I thought the exact same thing. They just who was it? Oh my God, it was Rivers. It was Jacoby Brissett for a minute there, but he was in the backup role and had to be a starter. Carson Wentz, and now Gardner Minshew slinging it for them. Still undecided about the Farzy only fans. I've decided no. There we go. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motor Cars, the SkyMotorCars.com. Taking a look at the Philadelphia Flyers. Hey, remember them? Flyers are back on the ice tonight against the Buffalo Sabres. They'll be in South Philadelphia. 7 o'clock puck drop for the Flyers. I saw Carter Hart address the media the other day just talking about how it's been a rough stretch, to say the least, for the Orange and Black. They'll be back at it tonight. Hopefully they finish the season strong and whatever. Hornets, Sixers tonight in Charlotte, 7 o'clock tip-off. Hornets coming to tonight's game, 22-49 on the season. Sixers are a -10 favorite, 10-point favorite going into tonight. Sixers look for their 7th in a row, so hopefully that happens. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of Faith and Walnut, online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Thanks, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Hope you have a beautiful St. Patrick's Day. Jim Hyde produced the program, did a wonderful job as per usual. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Yeah, I got interesting news yesterday of a special guest we could be having on. I'll keep you guys abreast of that situation. He's a basketball player, I can tell you that much, and I'll keep my fingers crossed that we can actually make this happen. He's a fan favorite, I'll say that much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you later. Bye.